Hello, everybody. We're gonna go ahead. I'm Rashid, and let's go ahead and solve some examples from chapter 1. And this is the first video from chapter 1. It is about linear equations, and these are the two variables. So it's about straight lines, and usually the majority of students don't have any issues with these. So let's talk about this one. We have two variables. We have x and y. X is, let's start with y. Y, it depends on x. So y is the dependent variable and x is the independent. Usually if you graph, you would put x on, let's say, this horizontal line, and the y-axis will be this vertical line. And we talk about as a point, if it satisfies an equation, that means when you substitute that point on the equation, it should work. So this concept is not new for you for sure, but we need to make sure we concentrate on better understanding, especially in this type of videos that are either kind of a review or some reinforcement. So is the point 1, 4 on the graph of 2x plus 5y equals 17? And I put here the answer so you can also see. If you want to pause the video before I try it, you can, and see what you get, whether you get the matching result. If you do, then you forward the video and you move to the next one. If there is somewhere where I just talk about something in the video that is not relevant to the question exactly directly, then I will put a note or something and you'll see it. So for here, it means we have x and y, and if we do 2 times x plus 5 times 4, which is y, equal 17. All right, so 2 plus 20 equals 17. That's false, right? So the point, this point, if we call it point P, it should be on this line if it makes it correct. So this will help us understand. So the important here is you need to understand that if you have a line, every point on this line makes the equation correct. So let's this ax plus by equals c. So any x and y that you put in this should make it correct. If it makes it correct, then they are on this line. So that's the understanding that we should get. Determine whether the point is on the graph of the equation. So similarly, you can try this one, all right? So try it. It's not, and you have the answer right here, all right? And see whether this is correct or not. So this is the beginning section, so that's what it talks about, and similarly for this one. So try it. So the only thing here, of course, you want to review is what do you do with fractions, you know. So if we do this one, just to show you 10, then here, of course, you can cancel a 4 with the 4, or if you put 1 over, if this is not a 4, this is, let's say, a 5, then the fractions will go this way. So in this case, 4 over 4, which is 1, right? So which is false. Find the x and y intercepts. So as we talk about these lines, the y and let's do this. So let's say this line. You know, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. So as these intersect with these, then these are the points that are of interest. This point, since it's x-intercept, then there is some x value and the y is 0. And this other one here, the x should be 0 and the y is some type of value. The origin is the only one that has 0, 0. So this is true all the time, right? So anytime you need x-intercept, then we understand now that y should be 0 there. If y is 0 there, then we use it for the y. So negative 2x equal negative 8 and x equal 4. And so the point, as you see, is 4, 0. And now for y-intercept, x must be 0, which means y equal negative 2. All right, so y equal 8. Okay. Find the x and the y-intercept. So as you see now, you don't have that x and y, the form of ax plus by equals c. You have this part and you have this part. You don't have this part. So let's see what's happening. If you go to x equal 3, you're going to find that this line is a vertical line. That's why y can be anything there. And because of this, it looks like the x-intercept is there, right? However, the y-intercept is not possible because these two things are parallel, right? They are parallel lines. That's why there is no y-intercept. So sometimes you want to go back to the graph if it's not clear. And similarly, if you have y equal, then you have a y-intercept and you don't have an x-intercept. So what is the general form of the equation of the line that is parallel to the x-axis, which is the one I just mentioned, y equal a. So you know you're going to use, so let's say if it's example y equal 2. So if you just try it and you graph it, then that's the line. So y equal a number, let's say a 2. If it's 0, it'll be the same one, same x-axis, but it should be something different than 0. Then it's going to be another line that is parallel to it and not same as the x-axis, right? So this one is just example, right? Just to show. So a can be any number there, positive or negative. Find the slope of the line that is having the equation. So here we reinforce the understanding. So if we have this, let's say 18 is here, and y equal 18. And as you see, this is a flat or a horizontal, which means the slope is 0. If it's a vertical line, then it'd be undefined. Graph the line containing these given points. So you're familiar with this. You're going to go ahead and put the 2 points, 0, 6, and negative 2, negative 3, negative 2, negative 3, and 0, 6. And you're going to connect the 2 lines, the 2 points with this line. All right. Then, as you see, it rises. If you look, you look from the left to right, this way. If you look at it this way, the line rises up. So it's going up, which means the slope, the answer you're going to come up with should be positive. And we have y2 minus y1. over x2 minus x1. This is slope formula you're familiar with. You call 1.1. So if you call this one, then x1, y1, and this 2x2, y2. So -3 minus a 6, and -2 minus a 0. All right, -9, and -2, 9/2, so 4.5. So we're trying to understand as well what's going on with the graph and the question to have a better understanding. What is the slope of any line parallel to the y-axis? As we saw, if it's parallel to the y-axis, then it is vertical. If it is a vertical line, then its slope is undefined. All right. And this should be a last question when it has to do with these. And now this is the one that has some difficulty to it. We have a line that is y equal 4x minus 1. And we need to find the slope of this line that is perpendicular to this line. All right, so let's look at the graph. It looks like we have the line. Since we know the other line is perpendicular, right, means its slope is the opposite reciprocal. So you will take the 4, which is the slope, and it will be 1/4 and opposite sign -1/4. And we don't know the y-intercept, so we're just going to call it v at this point. But we know from the graph it passes through -1, -5 point, which means x is -1 and y is -5. And that's going to give us a 1/4 plus b. So we're going to need to do -5 minus 1/4, subtract 1/4 both sides. Then you're going to need to have a common denominator. So -20 minus 1/4, which is -21/4. So now this -21/4 is the y-intercept, and that will give you the 2 answers. If the question asks for parallel line, then in that case, you're not changing the slope. It's just going to be a 4. So we put a note. If it's given another example, then it's going to be y equal, you keep the slope. Then similarly, you're going to use the point that you're given as x and y, and you will find b. All right, and that should finish this video, and